Hello and welcome to this free immigration help channel. I've been getting a lot of requests lately regarding the extension of stay, how to apply for the extension of stay if you are here in the United States on a non-immigrant visa and you want to extend your stay. Most likely associated with, all the airports closed and problems with the air travel due to what's currently going on in the world. So here you go. It's really simple. The application process is very simple. You can definitely do it on your own. I will show you. Most of the people, they just have questions of where to go and where to find the form. Once I show you everything, you will be able to do it yourself. The only thing that I wanted to mention here before we start, very important, is that you do want to start doing this process at least 2 months before your I-94 expires. And it's very important to keep in mind, it's I-94 is the date, your entry visa, not your non-immigrant visa itself that you have in your passport, because I've seen a lot of confusion in that department. People think that they need to apply for whatever extensions or whatever until their visa is valid. It's not. You can have your visa for 3 months, for example, right? Issued for 3 months, and then you come into the United States and you get your I-94 for 6 months, and you can stay here legally for 6 months. So keep that in mind. This is the date that you want to kind of rely on, and 2 months before the expiration of that is recommended. So let's get into it. The main website that you're gonna need is this website. It's USCIS.gov. I'm gonna place it in the description below. It is an official government website for U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. Keep in mind, a lot of websites out there, third party, especially whenever you go through Google and you try to find, just type in Google and say, extend my stay visitor visa, for example. You will get a lot of third-party websites which are not official government websites, and some of them are scam, and some of them, they just take extra fees for processing your application, which is pointless. So go directly to USCIS.gov, and here's what the website looks like. So you want to go to Forms, and you want to find a form I539, and all these forms, they are in numeric order. So I539 is called Application to Extend Change Non-Immigrant Status. This is the one that you need. And as you can see, luckily there is an option to file it online, so it makes things even easier. Once you click this, sometimes it takes you to this page, which is just USCIS.gov/I539, which I'll put in the description below, or it can take it to this page, USCIS.gov I539 online, which I will put in the description below as well. From here, you can start your online application. From here, you can also start your online application, but you also have an option to have your paper PDF form and instructions to download and do. Now, I highly recommend you to do the online application. I am going to show in this video the actual form. It's going to be very practically identical. It's going to be the same exact questions and everything in your online application, but for demonstration purposes, obviously I will show you with this. And the only reason why I'm doing it is because you actually do need to have an account with USCIS.gov, and this is the form that will come up, and obviously you will most likely have to create, unless you have an existing account, which maybe if you did something online already, maybe, but most of the times in this particular instance, you probably don't have it, so you will have to create an account. So for me, in order not to do all of that, I will just show you the actual regular paper application, and we will start with this. So before we begin, who does this apply to? Non-immigrant status. It goes for a lot of different visa categories, a lot of non-immigrant visas. And as you can see, B1, B2, obviously, which they put separately here, but most of the times they are put together, B1, B2 in the passport. Spouse, CM&I, only transitional worker, E, non-immigrants, F1, F2, student visas, H, I visas, J1, which is exchange visitor, K3, K4, L2, M1, and 8, O3, it's the spouses of O, it's extraordinary abilities, P4, R2, TD, so a lot of different non-immigrant visa categories, as you can see. Most of the times, most of the questions that I get are from people with B1, B2, which is regular tourist, temporary visitor for pleasure type of visa. Okay, so let's get into it. The very first thing, as I always say in all my instructions, you want to start with your instructions. And let me see if I can open it in this tab right here. There we go. Click too many times. So read through the instructions. Really, there's, like I said, it's very, very straightforward, very simple application. But you still want to go through the main instructions in order to kind of better understand the process and what is being expected of you. Now, the very first thing, obviously, when should I use Form I539 is you must submit an application for extensions of stay or change of status before your current authorized stay expires, as I've already mentioned. We suggest you file at least 45 days before your stay expires. Now, I said 2 months. USCIS recommends at least 45 days. Keep the 2 months in mind because you want to give them extra time just in case. Don't be pushing the limits. Failure to file before the expiration date may excused if you demonstrate when you filed the application that the delay was due to extraordinary circumstances beyond your control, which in most cases right now is probably you will have that extraordinary circumstance with all this pandemic going on. Length of the delay was reasonable. Again, your case most likely, you had the ticket back home and the airports are still closed, so you don't know what to do. This is going to be applicable to you. You have not otherwise violated your status. You're still bona fide non-immigrant, and you are not in removal proceedings. And removal proceedings is the same as deportation. Okay, so we will skip all of these public benefits and all of these exclusions, all of these inadmissibility criterias. So we will go straight into the documentation that is needed. What you need to supply with your visa, with your application. So for B1, if you are filing for an extension change, which is what we're gonna use in this example, so that it's easier, because like I said, most of the people are B1, B2. You must submit obviously the application. You must submit the original form I-94 for each person included in your application, and I did a separate video on how to obtain your I-94, because as far as I know right now, before probably, I don't know, 5-10 years ago, they used to give you an actual paper card I-94 stamped to your passport in the airport. They don't no longer do that, so you have to actually go online and obtain it, and I have on this channel a video how to do that. If you need, you can find it. You must submit a typed or written statement explaining in detail. This is going to be one of the most important things that you will need to do with this application. The reasons for your request, the reasons why your extended stay would be temporary, including what arrangements you have made to depart from the United States, and any effect that extended stay may have on your foreign employment or residency. Okay, so let me get out of here, and I'm gonna actually open the application form. Again, you will be doing it online, but here for demonstration purposes I will show you it on the paper, and This is going to be very similar in your online, same information you will be filling out. So let's start, and we will get to the written statement later once we're done with the application. Very basic, as you can see here. You will be entering your basic general information, right? Your full name, your USCIS online account number, which you will have once you create it, your alien registration number. Most of the times, whenever you are B1, B2, you don't have that. So just type in NA. And this is one of the things that I wanted to mention. You don't want to leave out blank in the application. Don't leave blank spaces. For example, obviously US mailing address, you're gonna have that. US physical address, you're gonna have that. You'll fill it out. Other information, obviously you're gonna have that. Information about you, travel document number, that's gonna be your passport number, country of passport issuance. Obviously we all have that, right? But let's say some really strange information that, for example, province, physical address abroad, your physical address abroad. For example, you don't have province. Don't leave that space blank. Type in not applicable, NA, and do that in all of the blank spaces that you can fill out. Put, if they're not applicable, put not applicable in them. It's very, very important, because I have personally seen so many times, even when people filing with the lawyers, immigration lawyers, they don't fill out blank spaces, and then they get the application returned to them to complete and fill out basically with not applicable. That's it. Very important. So, as we've been going here, your passport information, application type is going to be, you're going to select here what are you asking, right? So in our case, our example is B1, B2, visitor, obviously extending the stay. Let's see, reinstatement to student status, no, not applicable. An extension of stay in my current status, yes. So this is going to be for us, B1, B2, that's in our example, that's what we're doing. And obviously they have an option to change status, but we're not doing that. New status, this goes for 3. Again, see, this one is not applicable to what you selected. So here I can't type up because I can't fill it out. So if this was your paper application, for example, you would print it out and then you manually fill it out with not applicable. And if you can fill out not applicable in your online application, do that. I'm an only applicant, yes. Processing information. We request that my current or requested status be extended until. So you request your status to be extended until. Obviously, you know, if you do know when your country's airport is going to open up, if this is our example that we're using, pandemic going on, you cannot go back home, you're in a B1, B2 status. If you know when your airport is going to open up, fill it up. If you don't know, I don't know, maybe give yourself 3, 4, 5 extra months until the airports open up and put the date. In this application, based on extension or change of status already granted to your spouse, child, in our situation is going to be no. If you answered yes, again, not applicable here. Is this application based on separate petition or application to provide your spousal child? No, again, not applicable to us. If the petition of application is pending with USCIS, also provide the following information. Again, here is going to be not applicable because this does not apply to what we are doing. Okay, so additional information about the applicant. Again, we're providing the passport number, country of passport issuance, expiration date. We're providing the physical address abroad. And then additional information about the applicant. Most of the applications, they have that because this is one of those pages that determines whether you are admissible or inadmissible for really anything. So obviously you cannot commit any kind of crime here, and you can find these things here, which it really is self-explanatory. You know, if I believe it was somewhere here that you cannot commit any kind of crime, you cannot have any, you know, felonies, which is the same thing as crime. I don't want repeating, but you do get the point. So this is what this page is going to be about. Read through all the questions, obviously answer truly, correctly. Are you or other individuals included on the application? Are you or any other individual included on the application? An applicant for an immigrant visa. So are you an applicant for an immigrant visa? No, because B1, B2, what we have is non-immigrant visa, so it doesn't apply to us. So no. Has an immigrant petition ever been filed? Have you ever filed any kind of immigrant petition, which is really what it sounds like. It's the petition for any kind of immigrant status. So basically change of status. Again, no. Has I-485, application to register permanent residence or adjustment of status, ever been filed by you? Probably not, because you are in B1, B2 in our example. You get the point, Acts involving torture, genocide, hopefully not. Killing any person, definitely not. Intentionally or severely injuring any person, hopefully not. You get the point. You go through this, you answer it. Public benefits. Now that's if you claimed any kind of federal, state, local, tribal cash assistance or food stamp assistance programs that are available here. You can't claim them with your non-immigrant status, but some people do commit fraud, and this is what basically it's asking. So hopefully no. I'm not certified to receive any of the above listed public benefits. Okay, if you are currently receiving, this is still about the benefits, still going about the benefits, and then the very last one is the applicant statement and certification. So you're gonna fill out this, that you don't need an interpreter. You're gonna have your phone number, your email address, and then the certification, which is the signature, which you obviously need to print it out first. In your online application, it will just ask you to type in your name, and basically that will count as the signature. And of course, if you don't need an interpreter, you can just fill out all of this with not applicable. And yes, I do get a lot of questions regarding this not applicable thing, saying that do I really need to fill it? Yes, I highly recommend you fill out all of these blank spaces with not applicable. You just the amount of times I've seen applications coming back because of blank spaces is just not worth the risk. Really that's it. Now, as you can see here, you don't have any extra space for any kind of statement. In your application, online application, you should have an extra space to fill up with that statement that they're asking in instructions, which is extremely important, this written statement. If not, then they most likely will ask you to attach it as the Word document. So what I recommend you to do, highly recommend you to do, is I recommend you to open up your Word, right? Type up your statement in the Word, and then print it if you can, sign it, and then scan it. And have both formats, your Word typed up statement and then a scanned version of your statement with your signature. So if they do ask you in the online application to upload a scanned version of your statement, you have that right away, just do it. Or if they tell you to paste just a typed up statement, then you can just copy it from your Word document into that. And basically the written statement is going to be very simple. I always recommend making written statements official, right? So for example, from John Doe, and then your address, then 123 New York Avenue, for example, right? And Brooklyn, New York 11501, for example, right? You put your address, you put your telephone number, and then to USCIS, and then date, whatever date, well, not like that, whatever date, 2020, and then dear sir or madam, my name is blah blah blah, and I'm asking you, my name is John Doe, and currently I hold a B1, B2 visa that was issued me back then, and then I came here in the United States with this purpose to see Grand Canyon, and I was planning to go back. I already had the return ticket, and this pandemic happened, and now I'm stuck here because the airport where I was supposed to be flying, returning home, they're still closed, and I don't know where they're open. And this is the reason why I'm asking this extension of stay. Please, thank you very much for consideration. Sincerely, John Doe. Right? Very, very simple, very brief, but very official and professional and very understandable. That's really it. That's really it. Just make sure to. Again, it's not really so crazy important for you to put in this details of who you are and doing all of this, right? You can simply type up something easy, but I recommend you doing it in this more of or less official format, right? It will be much easier for an officer, USCIS officer, who is reviewing your application to kind of go through it and see everything in front of me. And that's really it. That's really it. One more thing that I wanted to mention here. Obviously, you don't need to worry about where to file because you're filing it online, which is a huge plus. It's much faster. There are no shipping costs associated. And the moment you hit submit for the application to go through, it goes through immediately. With shipping, obviously you have to wait 7 days until it gets there, and then until they open your application and stuff like that. Here everything is instant, so definitely a plus having it ability to file it online. But yes, the last thing that I wanted to mention here is the filing fee. The application, not really cheap, $370 is the filing fee, and once you are done filling it up, it might ask you. The last application that I was filling out online, basically how it works is you fill up completely all your application, everything, and then you have the application there, and then you have an option to pay it. And once you pay it, then the application is submitted. Now, USCIS, they might have changed things, but this is really usually how it works. So if you are filling out the application and you didn't see where you need to pay, don't worry yet. It's probably going to be after you're done filling out the application. And then, of course, you can file your checklist for the initial evidence, which really is, again, depending on your criteria, right? Your status, your non-immigrant status. In our example, B1, B2, very simple. Just one thing, a written statement. So like I said, this is very, very straightforward, very simple application that you can do. All the links I will put in the description below. If you have any questions associated with this particular application, definitely let me know in the comments below, and we'll be happy to address them. And if you do have any requests, as you can see, I try to address all of the requests for whatever you might need that is immigration related, and I will be happy to address them. Again, this is not any kind of legal advice. I'm not an immigration attorney. I'm not selling my service or anything like that. This is really just from me having experience dealing with USCIS, dealing with their website, with a lot of different of their applications, and just sharing the knowledge with you. So thank you very much for watching. If this was helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Still a brand new channel, still growing. Every subscriber definitely matters. Alrighty guys, I'll see you in the next video.